Welcome to the 2015 National RAP Partners EAP meeting. As the first and largest grant-making institution for biodiversity conservation and sustainable development in the Philippines, FPE was created by and for Philippine NGOs and POs. Now, after 23 years of existence, FPE continues to respond to the challenging tasks of environmental protection and sustainable development in today's rapidly changing context. It strives to help reverse the rapid destruction of Philippine natural resource base through a strategic and integrated conservation plan and programs. When it was first conceived, the decision to go for NGOs and POs was a deliberate one. NGOs and POs in the Philippines have shown a commitment to work on critical concerns amongst difficulties and conditions of risk. They have shown innovativeness in their approach and flexibility in managing diverse situations. This was according to Dr. Delphine Ganapin, former Executive Director, Board of Trustee Chair, and now a member of the General Assembly of FPE. FPE is now broadly represented by civil society groups who are deeply involved in its programs through majority membership in the BOP. We, the members of the BOP, currently came from member NGOs or partner NGOs and POs all over the Philippines, as well as the participation of the RAP, which is highly participated by NGOs and POs in the three regions. Our RAPs and partners play a very significant role. The RAP advises the board in policy making, program development, and governance. They serve as the crucial links between the board and the regions and provide the grounding necessary for relevant policy decisions of the Board of Trustees. Today, we also have present here with us the FPE partners. Our partners carry the aspirations of the communities from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, so that biodiversity conservation and sustainable development is not simply a goal, but a reality in the lives of the communities we serve. In the same manner, the members of the EAP or the Experts Advisory Pool help us meet our targets based on facts or evidences. And like all of FPE stakeholders present here today, they help us in ensuring clarity on critical and priority environmental issues, as well as assist in developing our regional and national agenda for the environment that considers not only the ecological aspects but also the social, cultural, and economic conditions of vulnerable communities that directly depend on healthy ecosystems for food, water, protection from damaging floods, and more. It cannot be overemphasized that significant challenges still remain and that the environment continues to suffer an unrelenting assault through overexploitation, misuse, abuse, and climate change. In particular, at the current rate of warming, coral reefs that provide food, jobs, and storm protection have been studied and shown to be expected to completely disappear by 2050, according to a recent May 2015 report released by the Global Change Institute. According to its lead author, the ocean is at greater risk now than any other time in recorded history. We are pulling out too many fish, dumping in too many pollutants, and warming and acidifying the ocean to a point that essential natural ecosystems will simply stop functioning. We have failed to look at the natural assets that our oceans provide, which is estimated to be at least exactly $24 trillion, which is, if compared to the world's top 10 economies, would be ranked 7th with an annual value of goods and services of about $2.5 trillion. In its fifth assessment report, The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change notes that human interference with the climate system is occurring. There's clear human influence in the climate, as they underscore. We have a favorable legal framework for BCSD present existing nowadays. We have the environmental rules of procedure, and recently we had a favorable judgment by the Supreme Court on the protection of the Tanyong Strait Protected Seascape, declaring unconstitutional the service contracts in that strip of protected area between Negros Island and Cebu. And however, our Supreme Court is not ready yet in declaring legal personality for non-humans, because that was the point, one of the points that we raised with the Supreme Court, that resident dolphins and whales in Tanyong Strait be given legal personality, and in effect, it would give the rights of nature to sue against destructive environmental activities. We hope that it will happen in the near future. Hence, we cannot afford to be complacent, because at the end of the day, we need to work harder together in order to secure the future we want for the present and future generation. We need to ensure that our children and our children's children can live well, feel well, and have their needs met, and live healthy, happy, and safe lives. I thank you for your commitment to be here today. We need to walk together towards a common vision. We need to use our fullest potential to achieve a common future we want. There's also a need to complement our advocacies, whether it be for indigenous peoples, renewable energy, and or even for BBL, or even advocacies against mining, logging, coal-fired power plants, and the like, and integrate an environmental perspective in all that we do. And we need to continue our extensive linkages, sharing of information, and coordination of initiatives. This is what we hope to trigger off today and the next 2 days of this National RAC Partners EAP meeting. Let us start our conversations, continue our efforts, and sustain our actions. Thank you for sharing our journey through 23 years at beyond. Mabuhay. As stated by Fair, we went through all the questions. Some of the questions we might not be able to address right now, because what we said, that we will just entertain the questions relating to the strat plan at this point in time, and there are other opportunities for you to raise these questions, just like questions relating to PDME process, which will be discussed during the workshops, which may be brought out during the workshops. If you have some questions on governance and on FPE, this might also be addressed in due time tomorrow during the dialogue between the board and the partners of FPE and the RAC. So right now, I'll try to go through each of the questions and answer this. For the first one is, I think this is similar to Prof. Fatima's reaction about the integration of the REA into the 10-year strategic plan. Yes, we will take that into consideration. It might not be clearly articulated in the 10-year strategic plan as it is right now. But then when we do the write-ups, when we do the targeting, all our actions are really based on the REA and the REA. And so we will perhaps have it articulated later on when we really finalize the strat plan. Next, on priority sites, are the identified sites presented new sites? For the identified sites, the priority sites presented a while ago, some are new sites like the Calvario, Patapat, but Sibuyan, we were already implementing a project there. For other sites, like in Visayas, in Gigantes Island. Gigantes Island is actually one of our sites after the Typhoon Yolanda.
was part of our post-Yolanda rehabilitation project. And so we decided to continue with that and identify it as a priority size after further studies were conducted and shown that this is a very important biodiversity area. So for areas in Mindanao, these are not entirely new sites. Some we've worked in some parts of the, not the whole ecosystem, but in some parts of the ecosystem as pointed out earlier by Toto. These are actually not new sites except for a few. In terms of the question on role of the rocks in choosing the priority sites, when we were starting with the strategic plan, I think this was before the new set of rocks came in. The RAC members, especially the previous RAC members, were involved in during the start of the strategic planning workshop. So I'm hoping, I hope that you can consider that as participation of the RAC. And then there's no mention of additional staffing for the regions. Once we have the strat plan finalized, we will really look into the organizational structure of FPE. Kasi that's what we wanted. We want to have it finalized first, and then we will look at the other like operational plans, which I think some of the questions that were raised by the reactors here and also here. I think we will be, as part of the strat plan, there will be advocacy, policy advocacies, actions identified there. And we hope that, for example, addressing the country's carbon footprint question, that can be part of an advocacy that FPE can support. And finally, I think there was a question about, I don't know if it's here, about, it seems like FPE seems to be directly implementing a project. No, I think it's just an articulation. As all of the work of FPE, all these actions identified in the strat plan will be done through the NGOs and organizations. And so these are just the areas of consideration that we will be focusing on for the next 10 years. But then this will still be done through NGOs and our partners. And I hope that that will be clear. We will not be competing against NGOs and NGOs. Thank you so much for the questions, and I hope now. Okay, there's another one. How is the sustainability plan of the areas that FPE has started, especially on protected areas? It doesn't mean actually that since we are prioritizing on the 6 sites that we will be leaving behind the other sites that we worked on or we were currently working on. There are still competitive grants, as you know, with FPE based on the CARES strategy. So it's still open for all the other areas. So we will not be limiting all the funds of FPE into just the 6 sites. We will be also still open to supporting other projects based on the competitive mode. So we have a competitive grants as well. And that is why also we have aimed to increase the endowment of FPE by seeking new endowment. We will not be competing with projects with USA, with EU, but we will try to get new endowments to increase, as ambitious as we could be, to increase the endowment of FPE twice, to double the amount in 10 years, so that we can give more grants. Because as of the present, just to tell you, we are operating on a 55 million budget operationally with the projects per year. So, yun yung limitations tayo when it comes to the endowment. We are just using the interests that we gain from the corpus that we have, the endowment, as part of our obligation under the net furniture swap. And so those limitations have limited us as well in spreading ourselves to many areas. So we recognize this, and we know that this is a reality, and so we are really trying to aim for increasing the endowment so that we can work in more areas and support more works with different NGOs and POs who are working in these areas. So thank you so much for your questions. I would just like to present to you our accomplishments for fiscal year 2013 to 2015, or 2014 to 2015. I became the chair and the CEO last July 2014. So I share these accomplishments with the former CEO that we have here, Chair Nestor, Chair Nestor Carbonera. So, for FY 2013 to 2014, the FPE funded 67 projects worth a total of 40.98 million pesos. The projects are distributed according to large grants at 70% and small grants at 19%, 15%, and medium grants at 15%. So we have many small grants at 44 projects, medium grants, 9 projects were funded by FPE, and 14 large grant projects. Next one. So, according to strategy, majority of the projects that were funded by FPE in 2013 to 2014 were site-focused projects at 42%. If you notice, the other type of projects like advocacy, constituency building, institution building, were the next sort of projects that we were funding, and defense got 6%, while research got a total of 1%. Okay? Sorry. And resource mobilization were not given any focus last year. The number of projects per region, we were quite even in terms of distribution of projects according to Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Although Visayas got 19%, and the national level projects got 22%. In that year also, we started, I think as related earlier, we embarked on a journey to set clear roadmaps and reinforce a more holistic approach to conservation. And so we conducted evaluations, the Gordon numbers evaluation conducted through the UPLP Foundation, and consultations with our partners, our RAC, and the EAP. Then we set our sites on 6 priority conservation sites in the country, as you already know by now by heart, in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. The 10-year strategic plan was formulated by the board, and in that plan, we aim to double the size of FPE's corpus by double by its compared to its present size by the year 2025, and manage the existing corpus that we have prudently over the same 10-year horizon. We will also try to maximize the counterpart contributions of our local and international development partners. So we will not only rely on the funds of FPE, but we will also try to mobilize resources from local and international grant funding donors so that we can distribute it to our NGO and PO partners on the sites, thus mobilizing an additional 20.66 million for projects from 2012 to 2014. So we had the EU Fondeso MIPEG project, which we were able to mobilize 9.16 million pesos and assisted several sites all over the country, from in Luzon and in Mindanao. So assisting indigenous peoples organizations in mainstreaming environmental governance in their areas. We were also able to mobilize the the USAID upscaling project with the amount of 8.22 million pesos, and also the EU ANPRO-Watch project with the amount of 3.27 million pesos. We also, as part of our strategic initiatives, infused livelihood development into our new conservation management plan as a sort of conservation trade-off to relieve the pressure of the people who are directly dependent on the resources. And so, in some of the projects, we really looked at providing for support for livelihood projects, just like the project that we have here shown in Negros Occidental. Also, in our evaluations, it was reiterated and it was also confirmed to us that most of our project partners on the ground were good project implementers. So we really choose our partners well. And I think the screening process of FPE has been very thorough in recognition of the hard work of our men and women working hard in our different regional units. This also helps us also in maintaining our presence in our sites in the different regions. And then during the last fiscal year, FPE also maintained strategic partnerships with international and local development organizations. And one of our new partners are present here today, which is the Miss Earth Foundation, which since we signed our MOA last year, has been very active in helping us disseminate or popularize or advocate for environmental or biodiversity conservation and sustainable development. We also had partnerships with Earth Day Jam Foundation and other strategic international development organizations. As you all know, for some of you who have already been part of our national conferences and events, we were able to launch our knowledge management roadmap, beginning with the Grants Online Management Information System. So now, after pilot testing it and after having a dry run, we are able to accept proposals from our partners at any time of the year, and as long as they go online and access our website at www.fpe.ph. And so this enables us to also reach out to as many partners as possible. And also, in relation to this also, we're now looking at simplifying the grants approval process for indigenous peoples organizations and POs as well, because we also recognize some of the difficulties in our project proposal application process. Also, because of it was precipitated by Yolanda, but then there were so many events that precipitated this action of us putting also our efforts into projects that integrate disaster risk reduction in selected vulnerable sites and communities. So after Yolanda, the typhoon, we focused in Eastern Samar, particularly in Sespok area, to support, we were supporting them actually in previous years, and then we were about to close the project when Typhoon Yolanda struck, and so we had to stay on and also provide them with some assistance, especially in really trying to rehabilitate and also assess the damages caused by the typhoon. And so until now, we have in the board a special committee on Yolanda, post-Yolanda rehabilitation, and we have maintained a project officer or program officer who is focused on actually really helping out our partner in Eastern Samar in some of our activities there. So again, FP continues to grow And we hope that with more partnerships, with more active NGOs and POs, we will be able to really do more, and with a very clear path that will show to us our directions for the next 10 years. We hope that we can really be able to multiply our actions and be able to contribute to the biodiversity conservation and sustainable development actions in the Philippines. So thank you so much for listening.
I'm asking whether you have cataloged the diversity, the biodiversity, maybe land biodiversity, terrestrial, on the various islands of the country, from Mindanao, the Visayas, to Luzon. There are, I think, important considerations when it comes to the number of species found in Luzon, Mindanao, and Visayas. For example, in mammals, where I'm not the authority, but I know something about it. Dr. Malyari here can add to it. The finding on some groups of mammals refers to a high diversity on Luzon. Now, in the case of the amphibians, high diversity of one genus of frogs that are unique to the country, namely the fact that they reproduce without water. They have direct development from eggs to small frogs. And they're found in our moist mountains that are wet or moist all the time, so they can survive. Climate change will have a bad effect on them because of the dry season, dry season. So I think maybe the PE should look at that, maybe orient a little bit, focus on biodiversity on the various groups of islands in the country. But you have a good choice here in the case of Mount Kagitingan, which is Mount Kitingiting, which is a high diversity. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you for the inputs, Dr. Alcala. We have already laid out that, but it's very few. It's only based on the site-focused projects that we have supported. So the suggestion, individual suggestion, we will consider that as part of our database so that we can have an idea and compare what are those species that we have.
I noticed, I would like to thank Dr. Alcala for raising the points about biodiversity, but I noticed that it's mostly on aquatic resources. Mine has to do with forests or terrestrial environments. I noticed that as a strategy, organizations, especially those allied to environment, like Office of City Environment and Natural Resources, use the resources from schools, like students. I noticed that recently we did 1 million trees for the environment. But the bottom line is, how much of this 1 million are still alive? Have we considered looking into the viability of these trees? For the longest time, Zamboanga City government, for example, the local government, used that as a strategy. But we do not see any assessment of how much of these millions that have been planted and money sourced for these projects, how many of them are still standing up? Second, we use resources of the government. And what species are these? Mahogany, Gemelina, rubber? These are not inherent. These are not species that are really those of the Philippines. These are not endemic to the Philippines. So why is it that the government, us in the sciences, in the academy, continue to use strange outside species, not endemic to the Philippines? So how are these affecting biodiversity? Haven't we thought about that? Third, Zamboanga is a sardine capital. We have 12 canning factories. And so we say, how do we increase the fish stock of the seas? I notice that we do not have much of the close season. There are times that the fishes are laying their eggs. And the fisher folks, whether these are fisher folks or large boats of the conglomerates, all of this must see to it that they stop fishing at the time that the fishes are kumbaga pregnant. Okay? So we don't have a closed season, and I believe that things like this are affecting biodiversity in general. So what is our take on this?
Thank you very much.
Yes, we have the National Greening Program. It is supposed to revegetate, regreen our land. But what is it doing? Is it for restoration or is it for production? We have campaign with the DNR to use our native or indigenous trees, to use a lot of premium pioneer trees in our country, from Pitong, Yakal, Kak, to even Bagalonga and Kalumpit. But still, they use mahogany or Gmelina. This is very easy to propagate, and it's very easy to count how many Gmelinas, how many mahogany's are there that are planted. IFPI and also PTFCF has been doing monitoring. Have been monitoring the performance of the EGP program, and it's in the record that it is a failure in some ways. You mentioned about the 1 billion trees in Mindanao. Who spearheaded it? And what were the trees that were recommended? Still, mahogany and Gmelina. Yes, we need our academic institutions, especially those offering forestry, to change the mindset of our foresters, especially who came from University of the Philippines and Los Baños, to recognize the importance of our native trees, because these are the habitat of our wildlife. Have you seen the very nice forest in Sikatona National Park in Bohol? These are all mahogany. If you look at our forest in Makiling, in Sierra Madre, in Mount Apo, the original forest, the wildlife is so rich because that is the native home of our wildlife. Pero, I don't know, when can we really convince our foresters that it's high time that we protect our wildlife. So, I don't know how FPA could really address that question. How can we really monitor the change of the population of our wildlife vis-a-vis the reforestation program of our government? And going to the second question on sardines, well, BIFAR has a good program, di ba, sir? On closed season, open season, pero it's not being followed because there are so many mouths to feed. That's why our fishing industry is trying to remove all these fish in the world, fish in our seas, to feed a lot of Filipinos. But I guess Dr. Alcala can expound that better.
They are different from fishes in the coral reefs because they are demersal. The coral reef fish are demersal. They stay in place. But these sardines are dependent on food coming stimulated from upwelling. The areas that were protected by IFA, they have closed seasons to allow the sardines to really recuperate. When there are times of, because upwellings do not occur all the time. They occur on those certain days or certain time of the year. So at that time, when this is occurring, the IFA did some work to stop the fishing. To allow the sardines to breed, reproduce, grow to mature sizes, and of course become later. This fishing is open. So that's the situation. I think EPE should realize that there are rhythms in the ecosystems. When you have production, breeding, etc. It is apparently has been used by Director Perez in trying to stop the catching of this fish at certain times of the year. So I think, you know,
for Northern Mindanao and Western Mindanao. And we are, doing sinasabi ni Sir na these are planktonators and they really depend on aquatic. So there are a lot of universities that have been involved. In my case, I'm in charge of the Northern Kawitawi waters and part of the Sulu waters, monitoring the sardine production, not only sardine production, but also monitoring the gonadal index, meaning the level of maturity of the sardines. And we have found out in our area that the highest GSI occurs from October to December. So that is the months that have been recommended to be the close season, where this coincides with the highest spawning season of the sardines. So this is the close season that has been parang like ordered by BFAR. And so far, we have seen some good results in terms of the production. And I think totoo yung sinasabi ni Nestor na dati talagang nag-aalma, especially yung mga fish runners. But now, they have realized na talagang nag-recover ang population of sardines. So medyo ang production, especially also the Dipolo battle sardine producers. Yes.
There have been two, I think, close seasons so far by BFAR. Ang ano lang, gusto ko tell you the realities kasi kinwento ko ng BFAR director sa akin, ni Bohos, na isa lang kasi yung boat nila, yung enforcement boat, and it's parked in Carles, I think, somewhere in Gigantes. And because isang boat nila, nagpapatrol lang during the day, isa lang talaga yung apprehend nila at saka parang na-file ng case in a span of 3 months. So sabi namin, ano nangyayari paggabi? Sabi niya, hindi sila nakapagpatrol kasi nga yung boat nila, masyadong maliit, and then paggabi, hindi nila napapa-andar. So anyway, medyo kahit there is a political will on the part of ASIS to implement the close season, minsan meron siyang mga infrastructure problems na to fully implement the close season. So kaya yung Visayan Sea, medyo hindi pa rin masyadong successful because of some limitations in their resources.
Maraming salamat po sa mga nag-input. Napakadami. Natutunan tayo.
I'd like to mention lang, there is this AA scholarship that we should want to look at seriously. We were recently given 200 scholarships, and the fields are fisheries, agriculture, and forestry. Anak ng mga barangay captain, a scholar, skill, kapal, 75, 70. Pero ganun, ano? Our team is chosen, had done their first selection of fisheries. So, I'm suggesting that kasi ang namin is stewardship, kasi out of our problem with the local government, we were hoping that the DEEP would produce businessmen from the rural and politicians eventually too, so that we will have stewardship with them. The long run, it's something that we have to do.